Hi, hello, mabuhay. Good evening, everyone. This is Chris Lina, and welcome to GeekClicks. First off, salamat sa lahat ng mga sumusuporta. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for sharing your Sunday nights, even Saturday nights with us. Ever since our pilot episode nung November, mag-iisang taon na, malapit na. Medyo nafe-feel ko na malapit na tayo mag-isang taon. But thank you. Thank you sa lahat ng mga sumubaybay at sumuporta at nag-guest, nagbibigay ng guest, nagbibigay ng mga prizes sa lahat, sa inyong lahat. Thank you so much. Yun ang unang gusto kong sabihin every time. And speaking of thank you sa mga unang mga nandito. Speaking of Chester Minoro, thank you so much for watching. Steven Uy, sana mag-guest ka rin soon. Thank you so much for watching. And bago ang lahat, pasasalamatan ko lang din ang mga taong naging bahagi ng show na to. First, the Holy Trinity of Philippine Toy Photography, Perry Chua, Rafi Panganiban, and Ryan Gomez. Nagbibigay din sila ng prizes. Ayaw lang nilang sabihin kung ano yung mga binibigay nila. Pero yan, nagbibigay sila ng prizes. Sorry kung sinabi ko na. But yan, thank you so much sa inyong tatlo. And sa mga binibigay nilang guests, well thought of dahil alam nilang may i-share yung mga kaibigan nating to. And ang saya ko dahil pwede na ako magtagalog ngayon. Naubusan ako ng English kahapon kay Akira Jo. Pero then it's fine. We're here to make you guys or to teach or to share everything about each and every one's work. That's what we're all about. It's all about sharing. It's all about the great community that's not a non-toxic one. If ever you want to join, so well, why don't you check it out? Philippine Toy Photography Club, yan. Nandito yan. Search for that. We have great discussions. Share kayo ng photos nyo. If you want to improve your craft, that's the best place to go. And yun nga, ang ganda ng criticism dito, ang dami ng mga magtuturo sa inyo, ang daming matututunan. And because personally, I believe that we can always learn from each other. Diba? There's always something that you can bring into the table. And speaking of bringing something into the table, eto, salamat sa ating mga sponsors, Joff Villaruz. Sir, salamat sa mga pinapadala mong mga prizes. Ayan, lahat po na halos lahat ubos na yung mga prizes ni Joff and nagsusupply din siya every now and then, pang ilang beses na. One of our new sponsors also is Carlos Balandra. Soon, ipaparaffle na natin ang kanyang Mythic Legions figure. Also from Hobby Toys Laguna and Sourcing LA Collectibles, which we're gonna showcase the prize mamayang konti. Hindi ko dala ngayon, but I'll send it once I get back to Manila. And here's to the whole month of June. Maraming salamat kay Akira Jo, and alam niyo na ang mangyayari ngayon tonight with Vicente Lim IV. Tops next week. A mystery guest on the 19th. Also, closing June is Patrick Ong and Sir Chief Paulo Rodriguez. Etong dalawang to medyo bigatin di ba? So, malalaman na lang natin kung anong mangyayari nito. And last but not the least, I want to announce that we have an ongoing competition. Ang dami na nag-send. It's over 10 entries na. So, mamaya i-replyan ko po kayo isa-isa. But thank you to all who sent their entries. I-send natin yan sa mga judges on the 12th once it closes. Yan. And it's gonna close on the 12th with the categories. Yan. Just make sure if you haven't done your entries yet, itong theme natin, theme relevance, 20%, which is gonna talk about the Independence Day. Yun lang din. Originality, how original is it? Kung may nagkagayaan, I don't know, really. Is it a new take on something else? It's up to the judges. Yan. Creativity. Of course, how you made use of the ingenious props. Kaya kailangan yung behind the scenes shots. Impact or appeal of the photo, 20%. And the technique, dahil medyo technical ang ating ilang mga judges, eto na yan. Salamat sa mga nagpamigay ng mga prizes dito. And kung gusto niyo malaman kung ano ang prizes, eto yan. Mananalo kayo ng isang pair ng Ulanzi lights like this one that I have. And a couple of minor prizes, but eto, isa lang to and gano'n siya kalakas. Siyempre, bubuksan ko to on camera. Ganyan siya kalakas. Sa pinakamahinang setting. Yes, pinakamahinang setting po ito. Kasi nabubulag din ako minsan at hindi ko nag-glare dito. But hopefully, I can see it well. So yan, magandang ilaw natin. Napakaganda ng ilaw natin. Nagiging dramatic somewhat. But yan, hopefully you guys win. This is for you guys. I'm gonna try to join, but not as a contestant, but just as a participant. Kasi gusto ko rin manalo, but hindi ako sasali as a participant. Hindi ako sasali para manalo. Gusto ko lang din dahil, I don't know, I want to put my creative juices on the line as well. And speaking of creative juices, I'll give you a clue on the guest that we have tonight. Etong guest natin, ang guest natin tonight is someone related to 1,000 peso bill. Bakit siya related dito? I don't know why or who that person that we're gonna guess is, but he's gonna tell us a brief history why he is related to someone inside this bill. Anyway, hindi yan ipapapremyo din natin mamaya. Just to clarify things up. Eto na, hindi ko na patatagalin pa. Salamat sa ating mga sponsors and salamat sa mga nanonood. But let's go. Let's go muna dito sa mga comment section. Sino yung nasa likod ni Joff Villaruz? I don't know. Ask him. Present. Present daw si Jordan Sabado. Thank you so much. Let's go, Daddy. Wow, may pa-magic. Wow. Price mo ba yung 1K? Sige, pwede rin price mo. Sa'yo din tong 1,000 na to eh. Steven Uy says, wow, magic. Kailangan ko i-slow mo yan mamaya. Bawal. Damn, quick magic yan. Penging 1K. Kathleen Diego. Quarantine na yung 1K. Let's get symmetrical. Symmetrical. I wanna get symmetrical. Ang ganda, ito na yung mga jokes ni Carlo Serra. But anyway, without kidding aside, let's get serious with this person. I see him as a serious person because of his work. But I don't know. I might find it very differently because wala siya sa tabi ng baby niya, the new daddy on the block. Ladies and gentlemen, Vicente Lim IV.
Hi, good
Haba,
evening,
it's a
Chris.
mouthful. Ang haba ng pangalan. Alright, quickly. Sir, bago kita kumustahin, anong kinalaman mo dito sa 1,000 peso bill?
Una, na-impress ako doon sa magic, hindi ko ina-expect yun. At buti ka pa, meron ka pang hawak na 1,000 dyan. Ako, have hard time finding.
Wala na, na-surrender na.
No, but tawag dito, siguro yung number 4 doon sa pangalan ko. So, madaling hulaan kung sino dun sa tatlo yung lolo ko, bale, great-grandfather. Kasi kaya nga pang-apat na ako. So, siya si number 1. The second is yung lolo ko na yung mismong grandfather. Then the third is my dad. The fourth, ako. Kaya Vicente Lim IV na ako. So,
yeah, Vicente Lim IV. Yan. So, yun. But anyway, kumusta si Sir Vicente Lim IV? Kumusta ka ngayong pandemic? Kumusta ang buhay-buhay? Do you still go to the site that you work on? Para lang alam nila. Kunwari hindi ko alam.
I actually work as a historical guide at a military cemetery in BGC. So, hindi yung libingan ng mga bayani. So, figure out nila lang kung ano yung isang yon. Kasi I'm not allowed to represent myself as an employee of that agency in public. But anyway, dito, I work there. And actually, during the start of the pandemic, let's just say I'm one of those na naging medyo casualty. Kasi parang kaka-resign ko lang sa previous na work ko, which was vastly different. I was working in fraud and risk management, di ba ang layo? I was fraud investigator. So, I resigned from that job because I knew that I was moving into this new one. Kaso nung yung pandemic, basically na-delay lahat nung process to finalize yung employment ko doon. So, 7 months akong walang work. But,
7 months?
But after yung silver lining doon, ayun, after 3 years of being married, finally nagkaroon ng anak. Tapos, during those 7 months, aside from, being the house husband, ayun, marami akong nagawa in terms of my toy photography. So, naging serious ako when it came to that. At least yun yung escape ko during that time na uncertain lang. So, and here we are.
And here we are, di ba? Ang dami naming matututunan. Ako personally kasi I'm a fan of what most of your figures are. I'm also from the galaxy far, far away. But we'll talk about more on about your work kasi I'm sure a few of the people that are watching have seen your work. Kaya rin sila nandito and sabi nga uh, ni Jordan Sabado, idol ko sa composition. Idol ko sa Star Wars shots. Eto na to. Steven Uy, yan din akala ko kanina. Akala nila pustiso. Okay, noted. Just kidding. But anyway, um, number one, very first question. Simulan natin sa anong istorya ni Lima 4? Uh, I have an idea, but tell us more about this.
Well, obviously, Lim yung apelyido ko, di ba? But
Hmm.
Lima is actually parang yung phonetic equivalent in military parlance. So, Alpha,
Ah,
Bravo, Charlie. So, pag L, Lima, 4
mhm.
dahil the fourth, and photos dahil lang, well, photos.
Photographer.
For photography nung sa Instagram
All
ko. So,
right. Okay. So
yeah.
there's the military side pa rin talaga that kicks in,
Yeah.
no? I mean,
Yeah.
I'd like to say that. And eto, may sinabi sa akin offline about, actually, napag-usapan na natin to weeks before your live, di ba? Nung
Mm-mm.
in-invite kita. You said that you gave up your job,
Oo.
high paying or twice as much, ba tama ba? Twice as
Yeah.
much yung kinikita mo before just to work
Yes.
in this historical place
Yes.
because of the heritage behind it. Tama
Yes.
ba?
Yes.
Yan. Let's
Uh,
zoom in on that. Yeah, yeah. Tell us bakit talaga. Kasi I mean, I would understand, but what's your main story behind bakit nga nag-give up ka ng a salary that pays twice as much, just to preserve, I don't know really what the reason is, but is it to preserve history or just to continue the heritage or just to honor, not, I'm sorry for the word just, but to honor the what our heroes have done. But tell us more, please. Sorry.
Sige. Um, well, actually, siguro, all of these things referring to the military and all that, siguro yung nagtatanong, ikaw ba hindi mo naisip na mag-military? So, yeah, of course, at one
Mhm.
time, naisip ko rin yun. In fact, I wanted to get into a military academy, but parang at that time, I was still too young to get in. So sabi ko, sige, mag
Mhm.
1 year muna ako ng college. Tapos, nag-iba yung ihip ng hangin, kumbaga.
Mhm.
So, but I guess it was for a reason. I found my true purpose, so to speak. Corny as
True
that may sound,
purpose.
but
Ang sarap
uh,
naman.
of
Okay.
course, I had a 10-year career that was very different, but now that
Aha.
I'm here, parang, kumbaga, ito na yung, parang nahanap ko yung retirement job ko. Kasi, kumbaga, yung passion ko na parang hindi na rin ako nagtatrabaho kasi parang in my free time I do that. Well, it starts with, well, my great-grandfather. He
Mhm.
never made it through the war, partly why he's on the 1,000 peso bill. Um,
Mhm.
Basically, yung parang last letter niya out of the battlefields of Batanos to say na parang, um, you know, with all this talk, I give all the credit to my officers and enlisted men. They're the ones who did it all. My role was just to inspire and to lead them. When history is written, I'll give them all the credit, and their satisfaction is mine to share. So he said that in a letter to his wife. Unfortunately, never made it through the war. So, kumbaga, yung mga officers and enlisted men nga na hindi nga nabigyan ng credit in history,
Mhm.
went on as unsung heroes. He never made it to war. He never was able to fulfill that promise. So, ayun, basically, I took it upon myself even as a young boy na baka ito nga yung purpose ko sa buhay na he didn't
Mhm.
fulfill the promise, I'll do it on his behalf. So, that's basically
Right.
what I do at my work. Na I talk about all of these unsung heroes. I research their lives, their service, and well, yung passion ko na yun for what I do in my job and my willingness to give up twice the pay to be able to do this kind of transcends din dun sa photography ko and my work because parang hindi ko ma-avoid eh. Parang I'm always drawn to that topic or that theme or you know, if I can be able to spread that advocacy in another way aside from yung serious side na talking about history, kahit dun sa entertainment side, kahit pa paano napapalabas ko rin siya doon.
And I think kita naman siya eh. I mean, there's the military side. I mean, we know that the clone troopers fought in a war, but it takes it takes a certain mindset to get into these shots. Para sa akin I mean,
Yeah.
me as a Star Wars fan, for you to relive the moment as if you're inside the battlefield would feel different. And I think
Yeah.
that that transcends with what you have been telling us. And yun nga eh, di ba?
Mm-mm.
Nandun ka sa you work in that historical place. And there's a good question na I was about to get into. Um, Pwede ba kami mag-photo works, photo walk sa park? Sabi ni Mark Steven Santos. It's a
Uh, the place is currently open to the public. Pwede naman pumasok doon, but for bawal yung professional photography or may yung meron kang model, but for your own purposes, while you're
yeah.
reflecting on these hero sacrifices, sure, take photos, and I'm sure it's hard to not go home without good photos. Siyempre, hindi
Yeah.
pwedeng yung mag-post ka ng toys doon or whatever. I
Oh
would have
yeah.
done that if pwede.
Oo nga eh,
may
no?
unfair may unfair advantage ako kung ganun, but but no,
Actually.
at the very least you'll go home with a lot of inspiration. So yeah, you can take photos, but yeah,
Why
kumbaga
not?
dapat appropriate din.
Yeah, I know. Kasi I mean, we're there naman to celebrate these unsung heroes, di ba?
Yeah.
But probably we can have a different photo walk somewhere else and you could teach us more about these. And after nating after siguro nating what do you call this? After nating makuha yung history about that, probably we get more inspired like
Mm-mm.
how you are inspired right now with these shots and how inspired we are by seeing your shots. Di ba? Nagiging domino effect lang din siya eh.
Yeah.
Nakakatuwa lang siya. One of my new Star Wars friends, ito si Jairus na nagla-live selling na rin. Thank you so much for watching. Carlos Serra says, the fourth ka man sa pangalan, sir, pero number one ka man naman sa puso namin. OMG naman to. Grabe. But yeah, I mean, for us, that is true. I couldn't say much about it, but it really is. That's why you're here. Composition master. Yan na. Ayan, sige, Carlos Serra. Sana model ka, kaso baka sipahin kami dyan sa park. Good evening. Good evening, Sir JP. And I saw your entry. Thank you so much for sending it. Ayan. Ngayon, sorry, shoutout ko na sila. Sumali po. Yes. Yes, we're gonna acknowledge all the entries later on. Sorry kung medyo may delay, pero what we're saying is medyo, sorry, life happens. Nag-iisa lang po ang inyong lingkod. Kung merong mga gustong tumulong sa GeekClicks, you are free to join. Anyway, oh hi Sir Akira Joe. Sorry, he's obviously joking, but actually dahil
Yeah.
sikit ka, no? Probably. But, okay. So, ang ganda ng work mo, but let's dissect it in a bit kasi that's what you do. I mean, in your work, you kind of dissect what you do, what
Oo.
your shots are. Let's go with your first shot dito sa account na to. Is it your very first papakita ko muna. Is it your very first toy photo shot? I doubt it, but is it
For this account, yes.
for this account?
Uh, Kumbaga with my what you call yung legitimate camera, yung
Legitimate
XT100.
camera. Ay, Fuji
Yun yung
user din. Okay.
yung XT100 actually was given to me by my wife kasi parang naawa
Uy.
siya sa akin na I was making do with a phone camera, and at that time hindi pa ganun kaganda yung phone camera, although the phone cameras are now really good na you can
Yeah, true.
you can do most of what you can do with but kumbaga like
Mhm.
you said sa previous episodes, may boundaries din. So,
Mm.
and this was before a trip to Japan. So parang gusto niya maganda pictures namin. So at that time, parang a year before I started this account, doon ko medyo na practice. But the pandemic was the one that really gave me the chance to do legitimate toy photos. So that was one
Nice.
of the earlier ones talaga.
One of the earlier ones. And actually ito, it's already para sa akin it's already good as a shot, as a photo, as a toy photo. It already tells a story. Can you tell us
Mm.
more what was the story behind the shot? Ano yung pumasok sa isip mo? Bakit ito? I mean, obviously you have the figures, but it takes
Mhm.
more than the figures to get into this shot. Mayaman ka dahil meron ka nung masakit sa kamay na diorama.
Hindi.
Ay, ay. Ang sakit sa kamay nito pag
Yes.
inassemble, di ba? But yeah, kidding aside, ano yung naging concept mo behind this, your first Instagram chat on this account?
Um, well, first I wanted to show off yung customs na gawa ni, to give a shout out to Gerard Romero because you'll see a lot of these two particular clone troopers in a lot of my shots, no? Parang ito yung panahon na kaka-release lang ni Rex, as in wala pang
Mm.
Echo na Black Series. So,
Oo nga.
these are actual customs na as in ginawa ng experiment na, well, let's mix together mga 3D printed parts or let's mix together ano tawag dito, mga Bandai model kit na helmet, which is what we
Mhm.
ended up with here. Kaya maganda siya tignan. So, ang galing nga mag-customize. So, nakaka-inspire talaga to take photos of these two. But basically, there's an episode dun sa Clone Wars na The Citadel. I think that's what I
The Citadel.
put as the
Okay.
title for this one. So, parang that's the one
Oh
episode na
yeah.
magkasama si Fives and Echo on a
Yeah.
mission. So, parang yung mix in nung actual world weapons. So ito, this is an
Mm.
M4 carbine in the hands of Fives. Tapos yung M249 na squad automatic weapon sa hands naman ni Echo. That's, I'm not the first to do that, basically. Diba? Parang if you go
True.
to yung account ni Matthew Callahan, si Galactic Warfighters, I'm sure some of
Mm.
you follow him.
Ah, yeah.
Siya yung naging inspiration ko din. Parang, kumbaga, I was into Little Armory, yung model kits
Aha.
din na maliliit. So, naisip
Mhm.
ko lang na, teka, parang okay paghalo. And then, I saw yung account ni Matthew Callahan. Sabi ko, oh, this looks good. Na, although 1.6
Mhm.
siya, hindi ko kaya yung prices ng 1.6
True. Yeah, yeah.
scale.
Oo
But
nga eh.
at least doon sa 112 scale, sabi ko, why not try it out? Sige.
And it
And,
worked.
yeah, ever since became my thing.
Actually, it really looks good dahil I don't know, I mean, para sa akin nga eh, until you said it, it doesn't it really didn't look as if it was real life rifles in my eyes, or
Mm-mm.
SMGs. The other one's an SMG, right? But anyway, sorry. I'm not an well, obviously you are, but what I'm trying to say is napa-English ako because Akira Joe is watching. Hello, sir, Akira Joe. But going back, what I was saying is na ano, hindi ko siya honestly, ito lang ngayon ko lang nakita na it's not a Star Wars rifle. Ngayon
Yeah.
lang, legit to Until you mentioned it, doon lang nag-pop sa mata ko kaya napasilip ako eh. Ang galing eh,
yeah,
dahil it
it,
works.
yeah, it mixes well talaga.
Yeah, it
Uh,
mixes well. Well,
may nagrereklamo minsan na parang why do you mix real world weapons with Star Wars or why they not
uh,
using blasters? So ako
kaya.
I just answered them. Yeah, the hobby is all about imagination, and so this is my thing. A lot of
Oo
people like
nga,
it though,
no?
so I've gone with it so far.
Oo nga, no? What if the real life or the clones actually use real life rifles, di ba? They'd shoot
Yeah.
better. I'm just kidding. But anyway, well, they do
The
shoot better.
stormtroopers naman yan.
Oo nga eh. Alright, but punta lang natin ang ating mga comments dahil masaya ang ating mga friends that are watching right now. And
Okay.
sabi ni Gabo, yan na nga, Akira is watching. What up, Sir Akira Joe? Thank you. Yun nga, he was our guest yesterday. And ilalabas na daw ba ni Carlos Era ang kanyang Andres Bonifacio costume. Buti na lang hindi wrong ang spelling nito hindi undress. I'm just kidding. Anyway, present si Toby, thank you so much for watching and nakikipagkulitan sa ating mga friends. Hello, ayan. Nakikipagbatayan na si Akira Jo, ayan. And nilathala niya na ikaw ay isang descendant ng former general sa atin. Napa-English pa tayo tuloy, no? But nagpa-custom din ako dyan kay Echo and 5K. Gerard de Guzman, who's actually Guzman Customs. Yun, nakatag naman siya
Yes.
sa picture.
Yeah.
Vic ng Sir Rex, yung parehong mura pa si Rex. Magiging mura na siya ulit di ba? Dahil nagre-release. Buti na
Yes.
lang.
Pwede na.
Yeah. Oh, a noble, sabi niya. Yan. So, isa kang a descendant talaga na Akira Joy. Yes, sir. An avid Star Wars collector and photographer. Yan. Pag-uusapan ka nila dito. Talagang na late. Gusto ko pa naman matutunan. Wala pa tayo doon sa composition. Lagi ko inabangan and amazed kami doon. Lalo na may pick and grid lines. And really love the mood and tones ng Lima 4 photos. Ang galing. Speechless sa mga shots ni Sir Vicente Lim. Alright. But anyway, let's talk about that. But na- I was about to ask about your camera, but you actually post it along with your shots, di ba? Dito 80 mm macro f2.8, 2.8
Mm-mm.
pala ang gamit mo.
Yeah.
And is it your favorite lens that you use? Do you have a favorite lens?
It's become my favorite. Minsan, tinatamad lang ako. Like, I get lazy when it comes to changing lenses. Pero,
Uh,
but for my purposes, I've gotten used to using the 80. And actually, yun nga, nung binili ko yung camera, the original purpose is really for yung na-inspire ako sa landscape photography ni Sir Win Magsino. I think he's part of PTPC, if I'm not mistaken.
Talaga?
Uh,
Okay.
he's kind of a big deal when it comes to landscape photography in the
Ah,
local and even in the international scene. So there's one time na I kind of asked him na ano ba yung magandang Fuji lens kasi medyo Fuji ambassador din siya.
mm,
So I asked him ano ba yung magandang lens for toy photography, and siya yung nag-recommend actually na why don't you try,
80.
you try out one of the ano lalo na yung 80.
80.
So medyo may kamahalan but I don't regret it.
Yeah.
Medyo nasulit ko na siya.
Nag-ROA na kumbaga sa ano no, nag-return on investment na no.
At least in my mind, no? Hindi,
At
syempre, hindi
lang.
pa fair.
Oo, siyempre, 'di ba? Kumbaga, nabayaran mo na. I mean, na marami na siya na-produce, kumbaga, whatever that is. Alright, but ang galing lang din dahil you still keep on going back. Nakwento mo sa akin yung article which we're gonna go to mamaya-maya. Um,
Mm,
nagda-dissect ka or actually when you compose, it's hindi mo lang siya nilalagay. Para sa akin kasi it's a different case when you just put in the lines para lang madahilanan yun eh. In your case, I
mm.
don't see it dahil mukhang na-compose na siya before the shot is made. At least that's how I feel about it. Um, Balikan natin to. This one of the reasons why I picked this is it's the classic rule of thirds.
Mhm.
Bakit gaano ka-importante para sa'yo ang composition or following the rules?
Um, I guess I have to start by saying a lot of people will tell you that there are no rules talaga. No? But for me, when I started with this thing, you dissect the photo,
Mhm.
you compose deliberately. I guess that's the word. Parang nakita ko lang yung isang article online no, about how directors would frame their shots dun sa mga iconic na movie scenes na kumbaga parang it seems so carefully composed na either two-thirds or some other composition rule or style. So sabi ko, ba't di ko nga gawin yun sa, why don't I do that for my photography? Kasi, you know, in your mind's eye, you can see a particular photo, you kind of know in your mind naturally na if I move it here a bit, or if I put the figures here in a particular configuration, it will look good. Parang naturally it will come to you na maganda to it will look good in frame. But uh, subconsciously pala, there are some things na there are these invisible grid lines. Sige, let's put it that way. That
Invisible grid lines, alright.
yeah. So you'll notice that you're actually composing along those so-called rules, like the rule of thirds. Na
Mhm.
sometimes it's okay to have a subject, lalo na kung mag-isa lang siya, center line. So, ala Perry Chua na siya, na, he really focuses on the figure itself, right? So, a lot of his shots are center line, but if you have
Mhm.
more of them, parang, or if you have something else that you want to focus on, so sometimes it kind of looks good, medyo askew, medyo to the side. And
Ah,
if you go to yung theory ng photography, which I'm not an expert on, but I kind of wanted to self-learn. So sabi ko, okay, why don't I try out yung so that hindi maging boring yung compositions ko. Why don't I try to see how I can bring what these directors brought into their own shots sa
mhm.
movies, how they frame their scenes, tapos paano ko ma-apply dito. So maybe I'll follow some of those patterns or so-called rules dun
Mhm.
sa photography. So,
Kasi it worked
like
for
it,
them eh,
yes,
'di
it worked for
ba?
them. So why not try it on my own? So for me, it was really more of a learning tool para sa akin. It was not parang to show off
Hmm,
na, oh, ganito yung ano ko. Para sa akin,
oo nga, eh.
tool ko rin siya na,
Tool
okay,
siya, okey.
if I'm not sure about what I want to do with the shot, I'll try different compositions along those rules na I don't follow it strictly. Yung iba makikita mo na hindi naman
Hmm,
sakto dun sa line o ano, but if it's
ayan.
there's a reason to it, then gagamitin ko siya.
Oh, 'di ba? So yun nga eh. And Perry Chua, we've been talking about this about learning the rules before knowing how to break them eh. 'Di ba? I mean,
Yes.
sometimes people tend to say na yun nga, I agree with what you're saying na there are no rules. I mean, there should be before you break them, or you should know what the rules are. And if we are to go back, sorry if I'm going over Sir Vicente Lim here, gusto ko lang segundahan yung sinasabi niya about the article. This is the article
Okay.
that Sir Vicente Lim mentioned about how the compositions were made on the movies para lang magkaroon kayo ng visual aid because photographers mostly are visual. Ayan. So ayan, eto na yan. Eto na yung mga shots na yon. And di ba, these lines,
Mm.
imaginary as they may, di ba? It
Yeah.
kind of plays with your eye. And okay, I'm gonna talk as as a magician here. um it tends to direct you in the right direction. It leads your eye. Ayun na.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna talk as a magician at that point. Sorry na lang, I just want to feel na gusto ko magsigunda talaga doon sa sinabi mo. Kasi Perry Chua has been yan na, magle-lecture na ba bigla, no? Biglang naging lecture. Hindi kasi Perry Chu has been saying about these things eh, na parang sayang sana, mas okay sana kung mas alam mo to. Mga ganung bagay yung sinasabi niya dati. But we see that the pictures look good in you eh. There's beauty in simplicity in what you're saying. Ang daling maintindihan. Like what Akira Joe was telling us yesterday about your shots. Ang ganda lang din sa mata. Ang sarap sa mata sa totoo lang. Um, Anyway, may nakita lang ako sa comment section Daanan ko lang siya, sorry na napa, napa,
Okay.
na, naging passionate ako bigla doon sa ano eh, sa rules mo eh. Sobra kasi hindi tumatak sa akin yung sinabi ni Perry Chua, and he actually agrees na you have to know the rules before you break them. Learn how to walk, or some people are trying to run before learning how to walk. Yun yung exact na phrase na batuhan namin ni Perry before eh. And that's actually something that you're already doing right now. Just showing what the rules are, and it's actually a good way for us to look back why these works, or why these shots work. Pero eto na nga, gusto kong balikan. Lima for only is the only one na bumubuhat sa IG ko. If you haven't checked my IG in forever, I haven't checked my IG in forever, but my tag photos are better than my actual feed. Kasi Gerard de Guzman, sumagot ka sa PM namin. I'm just kidding. But yeah, we'll get in touch with you soon. Hopefully, maging available ka. Because Gerard is the one that we're talking about. Tama ba? Sir
Yes, sir.
Vicente Lim, na siya yung gumawa ng
Yan.
mga customs mo. Yan.
Yes.
Let's talk
Yan.
soon, sir.
Yan ang true artist. Kaya ano, kailangan mahuli mo rin siya kapag inspired
Sana,
talaga
no?
siya. We
Sana,
were
no?
lucky
Ayun nga, eh, no?
kami ni Steven. Lucky kami nun na inspired siya mag-work nun kaya yung five and echo namin,
Oo
but
nga, no?
he's a really good artist, so yeah, hopefully he'll agree to come
Hopefully.
on to the show.
Sana, no? But anyway, yeah, yun ang hirap sa artist, eh, no? Sumpungin tayo minsan, eh, no? But I'm just glad that the pandemic, well, sinumpong tayong karamihan sa
Yeah.
paggawa ng mga very, very productive shots. Ayan. JP says, first time ko manood ng live about talking. Ala, grabe, first time manood ng GeekClicks. But anyway, welcome. Thank you for watching. Ayan na. Ito na sabi ni Daddy Vicente Lim's photos are great examples of very good composition. Even if the photos are very simple, he makes them more dynamic the way he composes them. Ayan. And then, bro, kailan mo gawin duko ko? Hindi ko alam. It's an inside joke, I know. But yeah, go Star Wars people. I'm happy for you guys. Teka, eto, balikan natin yung mga shots mo. Dadissect natin
Okay.
isa-isa, like what you've been trying to do. Let's go with one na kontra umay. Break natin ng
Okay.
Star Wars ulit. Pagandahin natin ang buhay natin with Scarlet Witch. Alright. It's a simple shot, right? But,
Mm.
there's thought para sa akin, at least how I feel about it is there's thought behind this shot. So when you shoot non-Star Wars photos, what
Mhm.
comes into your mind? How do you pose them? How do you shoot them really? Or how do you see them?
Ito,
Ang hirap, no?
nakikinig yung wife ko dito sa room. Pero alam niya na
Patay.
crush ko yan si Elizabeth Olsen. So, so pag si Scarlet Witch ang subject ko, talagang center line halos lagi yan. I noticed. Not by
Oh.
design, but parang gusto mo naka-focus dyan sa naka-focus dyan sa character na yan. So, even here, hindi pa
Galing.
ako nagsimula with my Gridlines thing.
Mm.
You'd notice na center line talaga siya because,
Oo nga eh.
well, there's nothing else in the frame. It's really just her. And by the way, yan nga, this is one of the cosmos of Gerard. So, a lot of people complain about how the likeness wasn't there in the stock
Oo nga eh.
image nung Scarlet Witch. But actually, my photos here, at least in this particular, don't really do justice dun sa work ni Gerard. No? But when you see it in hand, it's ang layo niya doon or talagang it really
Lahat.
makes a difference
True.
dun sa stock na head. And I think I did better justice to it in my later shots ng Scarlet Witch. This
Ah.
is one of the
Iyan,
earlier ones.
napupunta na natin siya. Yun yung progression nito eh. Here we go. Yan. Diba? Ang
Eh,
saya.
yeah,
And
I wish
talaga center line Okay.
yeah, I wish Instagram would allow yung talagang native na zoom in, but
Oo
I
nga
don't know.
no.
Pag nakita mong full frame or full screen yung shot, dun mo mas ma-appreciate yung how good the repaint of the face is. So I wanted
True.
to
Try nga
highlight that
natin.
here.
Ayaw talaga eh. Hindi
No,
talaga na-zoom.
wala Instagram talaga. So unfortunately.
Ayan. Diba? Doon pa naman din tayo nabubuhay sa Instagram. But anyway, yeah, I mean, let's go with the composition. Halatek, I never held a Dooku figure before.
Yeah.
Mag-usap kayo
Perfectionist,
offline.
perfectionist
Perfectionist
yan siya na. Kaya hindi rin
si Gerard.
basta-basta eh.
Ayan. Okay, balikan natin yung mga simple yet para sa akin, ang lakas ng impact ng mga shots na to eh. I don't know, sa akin talaga kita mo both accounts ko nilalike ko talaga yung mga shots mo. Ang lakas ng impact nito eh. It's a silhouette shot. Alam natin tapos real life guns ang gamit, di ba?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kitang-kita mo yung bazooka sa likod eh. But
Yeah.
okay, now about the composition. When do you decide what composition to make or what to use or what to create at the moment, kumbaga? Or does it
Um,
happen on the fly? I don't know. Tell us more.
well, syempre, most of the time you have an idea of what you want to do with the shot. But
Mm.
sometimes you come into it na, okay, these are the figures that I want to shoot today. Ako nasusulit ko yung toy kapag alam kong, yung feeling ko nasusulit ko yung toy kapag nakuna ko siya ng picture. So parang yung objective at the back of my mind is to be able to pictures of all the toys that I buy. Otherwise, parang hindi sulit yung laruan. So that's how I choose actually dun sa pag-collect naman na side. But anyway, when I choose certain toys, parang I feel like shooting these today, or I have a concept in
Mm.
mind. Siyempre, titignan mo from different angles na, does it look good from here? Does it look better from here? And then when it's there, I think of, okay, what do I want to convey? What message? What elements are there in the shot? And that's where I decide, should I move the camera up, down, or pan it left or right? It one is a good composition. Two, the composition conveys the message that I want to convey. So for this
Mm.
one, there's such a thing called a rule of odds na parang if you have multiple figures in the photo, uh,
Mm.
usually mas maganda kung sa mind's eye mo kung odd numbered numbers siya. So in this case,
Odd number.
tatlo.
Ah.
So although I wanted, because of the scene that I wanted to do, na
Mhm.
there, you'll see the caption naman, they're withdrawing through the
Oo
jungle
nga
or
eh.
through the mountains. And
Actually,
actually, yung caption na to is based on, I was doing search on that particular campaign during the Second World War, yung China-Burma-India
Ah,
theater. So,
okay.
parang, yeah, the British actually made a long fighting retreat across the jungles of Burma, parang ganon. So sabi ko,
Oo.
why don't I shoot that when I go? So, yeah, I chose my 3 clone troopers. I found the parang background ng
Mhm.
yeah, Burmese landscape. Kaya may pagoda dyan sa likod. You'll see the pagoda there.
Oh yeah,
Tapos,
here. Oo.
yung rule of odds, there are 3 figures. So yung pinaka-logical was to follow yung rule of thirds. But this time, instead
Mhm.
of intersecting yung mismong grid lines, you just put them in each of their vertical thirds, parang ganon, so that it's evenly distributed, puno yung frame,
Mhm.
uh, your focus is on the 3 troopers. At the same time, you'll see na yung isa pang line na trinace ko dyan was the horizontal one. So, yung hinahati ko dyan is yung kumbaga yung foreground before the mountain. So, I just thought that it would look good in terms of yung balance of how the frame is. Yung frame, how it's framed.
Kahit sa Star Wars may balance pa rin eh. Hindi, well, but kidding aside, bakit talaga pinipiga ko sa'yo to? Kasi ang lalim ng hugot mo sa mga shots eh. I mean, I figure that there's really okay, I'll be honest. I don't read much on the captions. I just look at the pictures most of the time kasi alam kong tinatadtad ng karamihan ng mga hashtag kaya hindi ako masyadong nagbabasa ng mga caption. But I just want to I always want to see the picture and understand it better. I mean, as a picture before I read the caption. And kaya ko talagang pinipiga sa to dahil alam ko may malalim na malalim na hugot itong ano mo eh. May
Yes.
malalim na hugot tong mga shots mo. Man, so it really takes a very lovely or it really takes something else to create a very beautiful story eh. And nakikita yun agad. Sabi nga ni Jordan Sabado, love the story behind every shot. Jedi tayo. Alam kong gising na si baby, naririnig ko siya. Ha? Welcome to the club, JP. Eto, wait lang. Babasahin ko yung, may comment lang na maigi si JP, daanan natin. Pasensya na po, nakita na pasensya na, uy, sa lakas, may kadugo ko sa trip mo. Hindi mo nahanap ang Philippine Toy Photography Club all your life. So, welcome to the club. So, join ka lang sa
Yes.
discussion natin. Share your photos. Yan. Yan. Passion mo rin yan. Go! Join us. Yan. Hopefully, makasama ka and makapanood ka ng mga live natin soon. Yan. Just stay there. Diyan ka lang din muna. Welcome to the club. Jedi tayo, the Force. There's a good question from Mark Steven Santos. What do you think the lines limit, or do you think that the lines limit the creativity of the photographer? That's a good question.
Yes.
Ikaw, ano lang mo dito?
Okay. Now that, kasi nga nag-start siya, di ba, I wanted lang a guide to help me pag hindi ko na talaga maisip ko ano yung composition na gagawin ko or what looks good. But there are 2 variations, no? So there are some I go in with a particular, those invisible grid lines na naisip ko na sige, I'll do it this way so that it conveys this particular message or there's enough balance in the photo. But there are some times that I look at it na none of the traditional rules, so to speak,
Mhm.
fit the photo or don't feel right. So
Uh-huh.
I still do na yung kukunan ko lang what looks good. And
Mhm.
later ko naiisipin na ba't nga ba sa mind's eye ko naging maganda yung composition. So actually that last picture that you're showing, yung silhouette din,
Mhm.
uh, that
Sige,
was
pakita natin.
actually that was actually a test shot because I was testing out yung background na yon with a silhouette type
Mhm.
bago ko gawin yung tatlong troopers na magkakasunod. So
Yeah.
this one was actually a test shot. So I had to crop out yung kumbaga yung side ng monitor kasi hindi ko inisip talaga na magagamit ko siya eventually. But at the same time, sabi ko, teka, medyo usable to if I just crop it or frame it in post. Kumbaga, sayang naman yung shot. Nandiyan na rin lang. Wala akong ma-post that day. So, might as well crop it in the correct, or just crop it so that it's usable. So, I ended up with, ito yung isang example na clean-up ko siya because, okay, pag clean-up ko siyang ganito, it kind of looks good. Tapos inisip ko na, why does it look good in the first place? So, itong spiral na to, it looks sophisticated. I mean, I can't even explain yung math behind yung sinasabing Fibonacci
Fibonacci, yeah.
spiral. Yes, and yung golden spiral. But theoretically speaking, sabi nila, if you follow this, yung composition na ganito, it naturally leads your eye through the different elements of the photo. So, yung curved line dun sa right, leads your eye to the pagoda. It leads you to yung foreground, but it ultimately terminates dun sa focus ng shot ko, which is the clone trooper. Na although it's a silhouette, siya pa rin yung focus ng shot. So, parang ito yung isa sa mga shot na nauna yung pag-crop or nauna yung composition before yung light. So, yeah, to limit you if you're insisting in your mind na okay lang kung gawin siya into this particular composition. But, later on, sometimes it's just a tool lang din na parang if you have to work on it in post or something, para lang maging balance or para lang may purpose din yung shot. So it doesn't have to limit you naman. So
Probably.
it's just a tool. So if you're able to use it, why not?
Oo nga naman, di ba? Kasi, I mean, a tool is a tool or it's just a tool until it gets used practically and then it becomes an essential. Saan ko ba narinig yun? But yan. Anyway, ang ganda. Thank you. Ang ganda ng sinabi mo kasi this is helpful for the people. Sana i-underline ko lang yung sinabi ni especially for the people who loves to crop. So, pag kinrop nyo, how would you crop it? Di ba? How would it work? Probably look at the composition rules. I mean, this works. I mean, the golden spiral works. And why does it work, 'di ba? Baka naman makita mo 'yun dun sa actual shot mo. Baka it's better if you zoom in. Terry Chu has something to say about that. The golden spiral is a good example of use of negative space. Kasi if ang space mo nasa behind the photo, it will not look good nga talaga. O nga naman, di ba? Kasi it is facing that way. O nga naman. But yeah, di ba? So at least, di ba? Read up on it because you won't know when you're gonna use it. Sabi nga ng isa sa mga mentors ko, you must have what do you call this? A bat. Tawag dito yung belt ni utility belt, a Batman's utility belt. Dapat the belt ni Batman. Shout out to Paulo Videones, sabi niya yan, dapat meron ka nun na anytime meron kang ibabala, sabi niya. So, yan. In your case, ang dami mong bala. Ang dami mong bala dito dahil every shot has that. Ang dami talaga. The grid lines are there. The composition is spot on sa totoo lang. The rule of thirds are really popping out and why they work. Kumbaga, kung may nagsulat ng rules na to, tuwang-tuwa sa'yo, alam mo yon na ikaw ang bumuhay sa rules niya dahil it works in your favor. Ang ganda eh. Ang galing. So, ang hirap kasi i-dissect para sa akin. Ang hirap i-dissect ng bawat shot kasi ang hirap para sa akin ng basahin yung mga caption to begin with. Pero ang saya lang din dahil nakikita natin kung paano nag-work yung mga shots na to sa mga kuha mo. Okay. Now, being a new daddy, pupuntahan talaga natin yung tanong na yan. Being a new daddy, at ang pupuntahan din natin ang mga collection mo na nasa likod maya in a bit. How do you balance being a new dad and taking shots or your hobby? Yun na lang din.
Actually, I'm still trying to figure that out. Kasi medyo laging gutom si baby. So, eto na lang, unsolicited advice sa mga magiging tatay, no? Akala nyo yung primary role nyo is yung pag-aalaga ng baby, pero hindi. Ang primary role nyo is to take care of the wife because siya yung pinaka-central dun sa buong operation nyo. Pag nag-fail yung feeding center, fail lahat na. The whole operation fails. So, yun yung role niya sa buhay. Uh, but anyway, it's challenging because, as much as possible, you want to be able to help out your partner. Hindi ka dapat absent. So, in terms of time, sisingit ko lang kapag napatulog ko. Buti lang, medyo magaling akong patulog ng bata. Pero pag hindi talaga siya makatulog, medyo mahirap mag-set up. Lalo na yung hindi ako makagamit ng smoke machine hanggat malapit sa sa
Yeah, oo nga,
area.
no?
Gano'n. So, consideration siya. So, for this one, lights lang talaga. Sabi nga ng wife ko, Diyos ko, pag lumabas ng baby, baka mamaya makita ko yan sa likod, may sparklers ka na dala, tapos binobomba mo ng usok.
Oo nga, no? Mag magiging siya na yung favorite subject mo niya, no? Ah, that's good advice. I mean, tingin ko ano ko, madadala ko 'yun. Take care of your wife. She's a center of your operations. Ang ganda na, ang ganda na. All right. Si Sir Steven Uy says, I learned the basics of photography from Sir Vic. Super patient and down to earth. Kita naman natin yun di ba? Thank you for sharing your knowledge and almost every day that I bug you. Yes. Go Team Daddy, sabi naman ni Jordan Sabado. Yan. Salamat po, sir. I'm sure marami akong matutunan. Yes, just tumambay ka sa grupo, post, share. And yun lang, collaborate. We can always learn from each other. Like what we're doing right now. We're learning a lot from Sir Vicente Lim. Kasi although marami akong sinakuda dito. Tawag dito, ang ganda kasi ng mga ang ganda kasing pag-usapan nitong mga shots na to bukod sa sobrang Star Wars fan tayo. Uh, what do you call this? Ang ganda lang din na nakikita mo na the rules work to your favor and why they really work. Eto, punta natin tong may isang nag-catch ng mata ko dito, Corregidor. Was there a reason why this was shot or the story behind this shot? Are you researching on something?
Most of the time, pag ginawa ko ng caption, well, for this one, not really, no. But yung, for example, the other shots in this series, I named them after particular places. Like for this one, Pelelu, which is just off the Philippine Islands actually. Malapit lang siya sa Philippines, and it's one of the bloodier battles. So yung I chose that as the name because there was a point where the U.S. Marines were going across a particular airfield. So when I made this shot, it kind of seemed semi-urban. Although Peleliu is supposed to be parang one of the tropical islands na ginawa sa island hopping campaign ng US when they were doing that in World War II. But yeah, I think the photo was or the caption or the title was appropriate to the kind of fight that was happening locally. Kaya ako napili yung pangalan na yun. So that's why I named it that. Yung sa Corregidor, yeah, that was kind of a desperate struggle na parang they were cornered into one portion of the rock. So, kaya medyo desperate yung itsura dapat nung shot. So, yung motion blur dito, I'm not sure if this is the one where yung tinapik-tapik ko yung camera para maging blurry siya. But,
Talaga? Okay.
yeah, I think it's this one or the previous one na talagang tinapik ko yung camera para parang war photograph.
Hawak mo sa akin yan, blurry yan. I'm just kidding. Kasi hindi, yun ang madalas kong problema naman. But anyway, at least the blur worked in your favor and that was on purpose. First time
Yes,
ko
for this
narinig
one,
yun,
yes.
sa totoo lang. Wow! Para ma-feel mo yung struggle talaga, no?
Yes.
I mean, if I may say, halos calculated lahat ng shots mo. I mean,
Well, the more recent one is at least, parang sabi ko, gusto ko mas deliberate yung pag-iisip ko ng ano. Yung sometimes you feel na, yeah, you really have a shot in mind and you can, kumbaga pwedeng bara-bara or pwedeng off the cuff or, on the fly. But some days, kumbaga, it's just tweaking the photo in a particular way kasi parang if you feel good about the shot, okay, it's gonna happen.
mhm.
It's gonna look good. But in the end, if you're working on it on post anyway, di kahit yung little tweaks lang na parang sige parang medyo mas sentro o sige gawin nating mas pantay or yung foreground mas ano natin para medyo buo yung frame, doon mo siya nagagamit. So, you know,
Actually, nakakainggit, grabe. Ang galing. Sobrang galing. But hello, Sir Ryan Gomez. Sana okay na yung isang papa 3D print ko sa'yo. Just kidding. But anyway, thank you for watching. Gerard says, kaya ko rin yung blurry shots. Lahat ng shots ko may motion blur. Appear tayo dyan. Thank you. Sana no? Hindi, kasi sabi nga ni Perry Chua, sorry kung lagi kong kino-quote si Perry Chua, siya ang madalas kong kakwentuhan dito. Your tripod is your friend, sabi nga niya. Alright. Ang dami nating napagkwentuhan about the history and your work and how you really work. Para sa akin, more than anything else, I admire your hugot when it comes to your shots. There's a thought process and the effort put into it, and it transcends well in the screen. It transcends well the heritage, how you really value the heritage, the history, and more. It's more than the money. Sabi mo nga, sa trabaho mo ngayon, di ba? It goes
yeah.
beyond the money. Now, we're gonna ask you in a bit something that you'd want to share para sa atin. But bagong lahat, it's time for our GC quiz. Yan. It's time for our GC quiz. Tell me if you're ready, guys. I'm gonna send the prize. It's a model kit. Sorry, it's an SD model kit. Hindi ko dala ngayon, pero pinadala nila Carlos Serra yan. Ipapakita ko sa inyo maya-maya. But if you're ready, it's time for our GC quiz. Tell us if you're ready. I'm gonna ask you a question that I'll post here on the comment section maya-maya. And then answer it immediately. The first one to answer, Sir Vicente Lim, nakikita mo ba sa screen mo ang mga comments?
Yes.
Kita rin ba siya? Yan. So, Sir Vic can tell us sinong nauna sa comment section. Yan. So, they're telling us they're ready right now. Yan. Okay, type ko lang yung comment. Ay, yung question. Ayan. Bawal lang exact name no? So hindi ko ini-name drop yung something else na yon, but sorry ngayon ko lang naisip yung question kaya medyo impromptu to, but you guys are ready? Tell us if you're ready on the comment section right now.
Nandito pala si Sir Ryan, siya yung gumawa ng mga diorama
yes, ready ko. Na siya rin ba? Yan, ready na sila Sir Steven Uy. Yan. Okay, if you're ready, it's time for the GC quiz. Feeling ko dahil hindi sila nagtatype ng ready dito dahil tinatype na nila yung tingin nilang alam nilang sagot Yan. Ayun, may palm tree na daw siya. Yan.
Yeah, medyo World War II na talaga yung scene na pag okay na.
Ay, oo nga, no? Parang beach scene talaga. Shore trooper ba gagamitin mo dyan? Meron ka ba?
Gagamitin ko dyan. meron din.
Meron din. Alright, here's the question, guys. Sir Vicente Lim IV is gonna answer the question. In what Philippine bill does Sir Vic's grandfather, in what Philippine bill is, mali pang grammar, sorry, is yan. Iko-correct ko. Does appear in dapat. Mali pang grammar. Ano ba yan? Mali. Host pa. Pala mo kasi. Alright. Sir Vic can tell us who the first one is. Tama ba si A? Letter A nagsisimula. Nakikita mo yung comments?
Yes.
Letter A na. Alright.
Yes.
Congratulations, Arnold Dolva. You win an SD model kit from Sourcing LA Collectibles. Yan. 1,000 peso bill. Hindi 1,000 na napanalunan niya. Klaruhin lang natin isang model kit. Right? Sayang. But anyway, congratulations, sir. Sayang ang mga ang bibilis. Yay. Hina ng net. Okay, noted. Palit ka na. Anyway, sorry, makulit lang talaga ako pag nag-host, lalo pag nagkakamali. Mali ang grammar kanina, pero ito, tama na to. In what is in? Ayan, in. Tapos in. Alright, plus daw yung 1,000, pass. Alright, but Sir Vic, ang hirap hindi ka i-praise dito, hindi ka tawaging sir, dahil ang ganda ng number one, there's great respect. There's great respect in what you do, in your heritage, in what you believe in what you're passionate about, in things that you're currently doing. But bago ang lahat, invite mo muna kaming lahat sa in-invite mo sa akin kanina. Ay, de, sa chat. Di ba?
Oo.
Please give us an invitation dito online para mas official yung invitation mo. Yan.
Oh, well, while I can't say officially kung ano yung kung saan ako or the agency that I work for, no, but I know that PTPC hasn't had a get together since forever, since the pandemic, no. But yeah, the our site, just figure it out on your own. Makikita nyo naman sa page there.
Mm.
Is actually open to the public, so you can go there maybe as a group. It's safe. It's open ground. Is very beautiful. So if you want to see what inspiration I have in real life,
Mhm.
and just go to a beautiful place in a relatively safe setting. Kasi open grounds na, open air, and there's 152 acres of it. So yeah, you can come over.
Yeah,
Just let me know. I'll be your official guide, and you can learn something
nice.
about our own history. So
Ah,
why
ang
not?
saya nun. Why not, 'di ba? Sabi nga ni Ryan Gomez, akala ko sa reception ng binyag. Joke
Tapos
lang
na,
daw.
tapos na.
Oo nga, no? But yun, congratulations. Your price is good, 1,000 pesos is needed. Just kidding. But anyway, okay lang ba magpa-ano tayo? Dun sa ating winner, meron siyang sinend sa atin na Papakritik Me. Is it okay if you share us your thoughts, what you like, and what could be
Yeah.
improved about a certain shot? So, okay. Critic Me, so it's for those who are new to the show, the aim is for us to improve on our shots, and yun nga lang talaga. It is us helping out each other and improving as an artist. And speaking of improvement, tell us what you liked and what could be improved in this shot. It's a bit low resolution kasi sinend sa messenger, but tell us more. Tell us what you like and what could be improved.
Um, I'm not familiar with this particular figure, pero well, of course, maganda yung mood niya. Yung aside from yung grid lines ko, I usually look at yung yung color grading, kumbaga. Kasi it adds to the mood. So in this case, it works well. Eto, kahit na walang grid lines, mahalata mo na medyo rule of thirds din yung dating niya.
Oo.
Uh, I mean, if I'm supposed to critique something from here, nitpicking na siguro yung medyo distracting lang yung the one on the left of the frame. But I kind of know what's parang added level na rin sa added
Ah,
level of depth.
depth.
Pero I don't know, hindi ko lang siguro ma-figure out kung ano yun or if there's a reference to it. But otherwise, I like the shot na may obviously marami siyang lights na ginamit dito and it works well in this particular photo.
Alright. So nitpick na lang siguro 'yun, no? But overall,
Yeah.
it's yeah, well, sakto pa yung ano, no? Sakto pa yung composition talaga.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kita agad, eh, no?
Yeah.
Saktong-sakto sa'yo. Parang meant para sa'yo, ang shot na 'yan. That came from our winner from our GC
Okay.
quiz, Arnold Dolva.
Mhm.
Congratulations and thank you for sending in your entry. Ayan. Um, tama ang well, yeah. Just join us. Join our discussion. Thank you so much for watching, JP. Sana maging active ka rin sa discussion. I really appreciate this episode. Why? Composition and history. Grabe, ang galing ni Sir Vicente. Yan. And, teka nga ba Vicente Lim IV. Do we,
Mm.
nakita natin, people call you Vic. Is it okay if we call you Sir Vic na lang? Ang haba eh.
Actually, my nickname is Vinci. Parang Leonardo da Vinci.
Vinci.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. It's more modern. Ayan, mas gusto natin 'yan. Sir Vinci, salamat. Salamat sa iyong pagpapaunlak and hopefully makasama ka natin soon sa chikahan sa ating mga kung ano-ano pang mga well, di lang kalokohan pero mga yun nga, mga escapades natin sa PTPC. I have posted Sir Vinci's Instagram on the Daddy Vinci, no? Ayan. Ang ganda. Daddy Vinci. It's a
Komplikado
good
rin
name.
yung spelling ko actually eh. Hindi one C, double C pa yung Vinci.
Talaga?
kaya, kaya sanay ako na nami-misspell yung name ko. Or actually, nung grade school, yung tawag talaga sa akin. Vicente talaga.
Vicente talaga. Oy, Vicente! Late ka na naman. No, sige. Alright. Well, but eto, hindi malilate to. Hopefully, you can tell us more about, well, anything in particular. Any tips for beginners, probably, before we end the show. Yan.
uh, I guess don't be afraid to take inspiration from the really good ones. So in my case, nabanggit kasi Matthew Callahan. He was a former Marine, so siya si Galactic Warfighter. And then Sergeant Banana, si Johnny Woo. You know, they're those big names. And then locally, we have a lot of really good photographers. So kaya nga sabi ko before the show, I'm not sure if I really belong here. But, you know, thank you for having me anyway. Tapos yung I guess another tip would be yeah, you can follow yung gridlines, yung rules of composition, but as Mark Stephen mentioned, you know, you probably shouldn't limit you. Parang gamitin mo siya as a tool for your purposes. Use it as a guide if you're having a hard time composing a shot, or later on use it to tweak a shot that's already good. So hindi ka naman kailangan malimit doon. It's just a tool that you can use and it's at your disposal. So use it as you must. Umaga. And lights. Kaya nga siguro sinabing lights, camera, action. The lights there is the most important part. So yan yung maraming sa PTPC na magaling sa lights, lalo na yung mga rim light, backlight, and all of that sort of thing. Actually, recently ko lang na-discover yung importance nung dalawang yan. So, that's why in my more recent shot, natutunan ko rin yan sa mga tiga PTPC na, you know, rim lights and backlights make parang mas buo yung photo. So, that's an important thing that has helped me improve my shots.
Nice. Napakasiksik ng episode na to, grabe. Ay nako, tuwang-tuwa ako. Ginaganahan na akong umuwi at kunan yung mga shots, kunan ng shots sa aking mga figures. At ginanahan nga ako sa na-inspire ako sa isa sa mga shots mo, isa sa mga shots ko recently dahil sa'yo. Nakita mo yun, di ba? Anyway, malaki ka inspiration sa ating lahat. It's really, really a great one. And may isang tanong lang din kami na gustong malaman. Sama ka ba sa parokya? I'm just Pero yan, Daddy Vinci. Daddy Vinci, yan, double C daw. At alam naman natin na si Vinci lang talaga dapat. Yan, gusto ko yan. Tapos, the title for your photography book is Daddy Vinci Code. Ang ganda. Smart ka dyan. Basahin lang natin ang mga comment ng ating mga friends. Nag-send po ng email entry. Yes po, magre-reply po tayo mamaya. Vinny VD Vici. Ganda. Congrats bro, Star Wars time show. Yes. O nga no, celebrate Star Wars fans. Nice dito Uncle Chris. Wow. And sa interview, Daddy Vinci. And yes, guys, stay tuned. Next week tayo kay Sir Tops naman tayo. We're gonna talk about his entire work na it's a mix of art, tawag dito, tangible and non-tangible stuff. We'll talk more about that. But anyway, check out our episodes and again, join our contest. This is Chris Lina along with one of the composition masters here to my left, our guest, Mr. Vicente Vinci Lim, the fourth. And wala na masasabi dito. Na kay Sir Vinci ng lahat at siya lang naman talaga dapat. Ayan, masayang episode ito para sa akin personally and let's look back. It's time. Hindi ako magnenermon dito pero it's time for us to look back in our heritage, guys. Mas alam pa natin ang 4th of July kaysa sa bakit nagkaroon ng Cry of Balintawak, di ba? So, and napapanood din yan dahil baka doon kayo makakuha ng inspirasyon para sa ating June 12 competition. Di ba? Saktong-sakto. So, hopefully, sir, makasali kayo. And Sir Vinci, sana ikaw rin. I'm hoping magkaroon ka rin ng entry dun sa ating contest
ng time.
with Henry.
ng time.
Sana. Bonus history lesson. Yeah, bonus yan. And ito yung mga minis natin ng mga elementary tayo at high school ng mga Hekasi days. Anyway, yan. Learn more, guys. Para sa akin, yung inspirational yung sinabi ni Sir Vinci na nag-give up siya ng twice paying or a job that pays twice as much for this one, di ba? So, at least meron tayong maganda para sa akin that is very inspirational. Sinasabi ko yan kay Ma'am Kat, but yon, mas masaya ako na nagkaroon tayo ng ganitong episode. It's a good breather, at the same time it's a good way to go back to basics. Back to basics sa photography and back to basics sa ating history. Ang galing! 2 in 1,
So, yeah,
di ba?
definitely come and visit me. Let me know. I'll make sure that it's worth your while.
Yeah, and that is called passion. Sabi nga ni Sir Steven Uy. Yan. So hopefully guys, we reignited your passions and stay tuned. Hopefully mas matututo din tayo ng ibang mga aspeto sa ating mga future episodes. So keep on shooting, keep on collecting. Marami na akong kuda dito. Sorry man na overtalk ko Sir Vinci, napakabait kasi. Anyway, see you guys next time. This is Chris Lina along with the composition master here. Lima for photos. Check out his Instagram that I posted on the comment section. If you haven't followed him yet, please do so. And follow GeekClicks for more live and stay tuned. See you next week for more geeky goodness. Bye guys.